Guitar Collector Guy presents the Parker Nitefly operational walkthrough. So this is my Parker Nitefly. I picked this up about a year ago. I have always kind of looked at the Parkers from afar. I first got interested in them when I saw the guitars for David Bowie playing one. And then I started doing research and so on. And by the time I discovered them, the company had already gone out of business. And so I was watching online over the years for a model that I could afford. Sometimes the deluxe models and others are relatively expensive if they're in really good shape. Some of the primary differences between kind of those models and what I have here, I believe that in later years, Parker as a company released kind of a lower end model that had most of the same functionality, but was also lacking a few things. The few things that my guitar lacks are there is not an active circuit inside. If you turn it over, you'll see that there's no battery compartment. It has a bolt-on neck. The tremolo system actually looks, when you look at it in here, looks very similar to a Stratocaster, and they came stock with Spurzl locking tuners, just really good locking tuners. This unit has a passive Piezo system built into the bridge here, and then it has 3 magnetic pickups. Just kind of walking through things. That is where you adjust the truss rod. And I believe that this guitar, it's one of the differences between this and the more expensive models is this is not a really lightweight guitar. It is actually, I believe, a mahogany body and a mahogany neck with carbon fiber fretboard and I believe stainless steel frets. So it's still a light guitar, but it's just not as light as the high-end Parker model. A few things that I've learned over the years that I've had it are, I did finally find a bar for the tremolo system. It's in the case right now. And then I believe that this unit it's odd because it has, it's a cross between a Nitefly M and a Nitefly SE. I've actually seen this unit similar to this on Reverb and eBay, where some of the units have a stereo mono switch right here, and this unit doesn't have it. So kind of walking through the controls, this is the tone and the volume for the magnetic pickups. It has a Strat-like 5-position selector switch for those. And this right here, when you have, so first of all, I have a standard cable plugged into this now. And on this guitar, here I'll show you, when that's the position for magnetic pickups, you can hear that it plays. In the middle, it's supposed to be a blend between the magnetic and the piezo, and it plays. If you switch over to piezo only, it does not play with a standard mono 1/4-inch cable, guitar cable plugged in. A lot of the higher end units actually would play both, and because I believe it's there's like some sort of an impedance matching problem or something where they had difficulty just without a passive or an active circuit combining the magnetic and piezo pickups. That the active board actually handled that and was able to combine them. But this unit, when you have a standard mono cable plugged into it, only plays the magnetic pickups. Kind of funny story. After I had it for about 6 months, I really didn't know what it was, and to be honest with you, I thought that it actually only had the magnetic pickups in it versus and I really should have taken it apart and looked at it. And I made the mistake of selling it to a gentleman, and two things happen. One, there are bearings in the saddles here, and they fall out on this model. And so when normally you send a guitar to someone, you loosen the strings so you don't have full tension. Of course, the bearings came out. So that was the first thing. He thought that the bridge had broken, and I tried to explain to him that the bearings are actually held in place by the tension of the string, and I should have thought about that. And also, too, if the bearings disappear and you lose them, you're kind of SOL. And at first, I actually was really happy because I had found that the bearings in the Fender LSR nut, which you can get for about 29 bucks, fit this perfectly. And I thought I was like doing something great. What I discovered was I could actually just buy a bag of the exact size ball bearings for about 10 bucks. And so now I have a bag of those. I also have 2 LSR nuts that I keep in the case in case I lose one of these. And either way, I'm covered. Some of the guitars had push-pull for basically tap circuit of tap splitting on the humbucker. This unit does not. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh, also too, the on the Parker flies and Niteflies, the strings load from here. They're top loaded on the bridge, and so on. And then I believe that it's a Graftech nut, and so that's, so here we are. We're switching over, playing magnetic, playing in the bridge, the center, and neck. So now I'm going to go ahead and take out the standard mono cable and put in a standard stereo cable. So it goes from stereo on the guitar to then 2 split mono circuits. And I'm going to go ahead and run 2 of these amps. I'm going to go ahead and run the other through it. If you like this video, click like, subscribe, and notify. Okay, so I have both amps plugged in right now, and so I'm playing now through the little tube amp. That's the piezo circuit that's in the saddles. This is both the magnetic and the piezo, and this is just the magnetic. And so this is the volume control for the piezo, volume control for the magnetic, tone control for the magnetic. So, so you can actually play through 2 different amps. So that's the magnetic, that's both. Here's just the piezo. Supposedly the value of the piezo circuit that's built into this that was designed by Fishman, who is one of the founders of the company, was this guitar is supposed to then sound like an amplified acoustic guitar. It does kind of. I mean, to me it does. And I probably with the active circuit model, it's probably cleaner. But when you listen, it's a little bit rough in the Piezo, at least in my opinion. And I actually think the magnetic pickups are cleaner and smoother. So probably because you actually have a tone control, and the only thing that you have on the Piezo are the just the volume control. So kind of cool. You can, if you have a single amp and you want to play, there's a couple different ways you can do this with a single amp. You can plug in, the magnetic when you're playing magnetic, but then you have to manually switch out the cable ends if you want to play the Piezo. I've read online people using a switch box that you can plug both of the mono plugs into and have one coming out into your amp, and then you can actually, like a foot switch, tap in between and play your magnetic and then switch. So, and I mean, if you think about it conceptually, being able to play on stage the same instrument and actually have acoustic tones and rock tones, electric guitar tones, all out of the same instrument, that seems like an incredible benefit. So it's a very controversial kind of instrument and guitar. It's one of those things where I think you either love it or you hate it. And I am not I like some kind of metal music and things like that and so on. I've actually seen jazz players play this because of kind of the tonal capabilities of the higher end unit, and that it's also a really lightweight guitar and virtually has no type of wear on the fretboard except for frets. I did see the other day, I was kind of seeing how much this specific model went for on Reverb and eBay. And I found that depending on the condition, this is pretty close to what I would call mint condition. And from good to mint, they range anywhere from about $1,100 for something that's probably good, $1,300 and up, and then about $1,900 for a mint condition unit that's fully intact and fully working, and so on. I think that if you put it out there for that, it's going to sit for a long time, and it's not going to be something that's going to sell fast, because it's one of those things where, like I said, you either love it or you don't, and so on. I've just found it to be amazingly unique, functioning as well as design and look. I love the look of this headstock. That's, to me, is just incredible, very minimalist and so on. And then, the shape of the body and so on, and the innovations that the founders of, Parker put into this. It's a very cool guitar. I eventually do want to get one of the deluxe models that is light. I even saw they came out with what they call a Parker Fly Southern model, and it looks pretty much just like this, sometimes kind of natural woods and stuff, but it actually has then for your pickups the tele configuration, and it's like somebody, a Parker and a Telecaster had a baby, and this is the guitar that came out of it. So that was my purpose of today's video, is just kind of a high level overview, and walk through something that the company isn't out there anymore. There are manuals online. I have a few of them specifically for this guitar, and the manuals are okay. They could be better. There's a lot of different forums out there with where you can get information. It's where I learned about going from having to buy the expensive LSR nut and just buying a bag of the 3/32, stainless steel ball bearings, and for a fraction of the cost, and so on. And so that's it for today. It was just kind of a high level walkthrough about a very, very interesting guitar. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching Guitar Collector Guy. Really appreciate you being here. Hope you come back and watch more. If you like this video, click like, subscribe, and notify.